Hello everybody, I come back yet with another segment. Yes, today we'll be looking at the June examination grade 12 technical mathematics 2025. And yes, the question paper was written for 3 hours, 150 marks. So we'll be going through question by question. So in this first segment, we're going to start with question number 1. So this is our question number 1. I'm going to divide this question into 3 different sections so that I can have enough space for writing. So we'll start with the first 3 questions, then we come to simultaneous, and then we tackle the last one, 1.3 and 1.4. Okay, so let's get into it. So in our first question, question 1, 1.1, they say that we must solve for x. So in the first one, we are given x minus 3 into 2x plus 4, it is equal to 0. Guys, for 2 marks, the question says we must solve for x. So what do we do here? Okay, let's write down 1.1.1. What do we have? We have x minus 3 multiplied by 2x plus 4. All of this is equals to 0. So we have a product here. We have this multiplied by this is equal to 0. So this is only true if the first one here, x minus 3, it is equal to 0, or the second one here, 2x plus 4, it is equal to 0. So if this is equals to 0, 0 multiplied by everything becomes 0. Same applies if 2x plus 4, it is equal to 0. That means this multiplied by this will always give us 0. So in this case, the value of x, it is equal to 3. Here we're gonna have 2x, it is equal to negative 4, and then you divide both sides by 2, making the value of x to be negative 2. So these are the answers here. So here we're gonna have x, it is equal to 3, and x, it is equal to negative 2. Great. And then 1.1.2, let me just rewrite the question. We have 5 into x squared minus 3x. This is equal to 3 into x squared plus 4 minus 4. They say we must write our answer correctly to 2 decimal place. Let's see. Before we can simplify or try to find the values of x here, we need to remove the brackets first by multiplication. So you're going to have 5 multiplied by x is going to give us 5x squared. And then you're going to take that 5 and multiply negative 3, it's going to give us negative 15x. This is equal to 3 multiplied by x squared is going to give us 3x squared. And again, 3 multiplied by 4 is going to give us 12. Then we minus 4. Then we group our like terms. So in this side, I'm going to have my 5x squared. My 3x squared, I'm going to transpose it to this side. It is positive. When it comes to this side, it's going to be negative 3x squared. And then I have minus 15x. Yes, I have minus 15x. And then this side, when you say 12 minus 4, 12 minus 4, it is going to give us 8. So it's going to be 8. When it comes to this side, it's going to be negative 8. All of this, it is equal to 0. And then we continue to simplify. What is 5 minus 3? It is going to give us 2x squared minus 15x minus 8. All of this, it is equal to 0. And then we use the formula from here. We use the quadratic formula. You know it. It's at the back of your formula sheet. X, it is equals to negative b plus minus into the root of b squared minus 4ac, and then we divide everything by 2a. Sorry about that. And then guys, identify the values of a, b, and c. The value of a here is 2. The value of b is minus 15. The value of c here, it is minus 8. And then you go to your substitution and then make sure that your substitution is very correct. Remember, this negative sign is the negative of the formula. So this negative is not being replaced by this negative 15. So when you substitute, you say negative into negative 15 plus minus into the root of, open bracket, negative 15 squared minus 4. The value of a is 2. The value of c is negative 8. And then all of this is divided by 2 into a. A is 2. Great. So I'm just going to continue here. When you put that into your calculator, you will find that the value of a, it is negative 0.5. And then the first value of x, I mean, it is negative 0.5. Or you can just write it as negative 1 over 2. And then the second value for x, if you put it in your calculator, you will find that the value of x is equals to 8. Yes, that is for your 4 marks there. I know it can be a little bit of work, but trust me, it is not. It is very, 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 very much simple. You just need to work out the brackets, simplify, make sure you reach the standard form, the quadratic form. Use the quadratic formula, substitute correctly. Immediately after substitution, skip the part of simplify and press the calculator, and then you will find that the value of x, it is 0.5 for 1 over 2, and the second value of x, it is equals to 8. I'm going to erase this part here so that I can do 1.1.3. Okay, what do we have here? In 1.1.3, we have an inequality situation. We're given x squared minus 4x, it is less than or equal to 0. Okay, most importantly, critical values. Finding your critical values of this one, x squared minus 4x, put it equal to 0. Factorize x because you don't have the value of c here, so you can just factorize x. You'll be left with x minus 4. This is equal to 0, so you will find that your critical values is that x, it is equal to 0 and or x, it is equals to 4. This part here is given by x minus 4 equal to 0. So you'll find that the value of x, it is positive 4. So these are our critical values, is not the solution. So how do we represent the solution? Our solution is going to be in between our critical values. Okay, if you take a look at this here, we're going to have x, and then the value of our x is going to be between 0 and 4. So this is our inequality notation solution. So how we represent our solution here, we're going to represent it like this. So the solution for this one over here, it is given in this form. Please guys, this is very important. Remember to find your critical values before you can represent your answer in an inequality form. All right. You can also use the quadratic formula here, but you can easily factorize, which makes it very much easier when you factorize. But you can use the quadratic formula here where c, it is equal to 0. You will see that you will find the same answers here. All right. Now let's look at the rest of the questions. Simultaneous. Solve for x and y. If you are given that x plus y minus 6, it is equal to 0, or xy, it is equal to 8. All right, let's see how do we simplify this one. I'm going to create equation 1 and equation 2. So my x plus y minus 6, it is equal to 0, and xy, it is equal to 8. I'm going to call this my first equation, and then I'm going to call this my second equation. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say that in equation number 1, I'm going to solve for something. I can decide whether I want to solve for x or I want to solve for y, but which one is, any of them rather, it's easier. So let's just say that we're going to solve for x. So I'm going to take equation number 1, x plus y minus 6 equal to 0. That means x, it is equals to, look at this very carefully. If you take 6, you take it to this side of the equation, you transpose 6 to this side of the equation, it becomes positive 6. And then you take y is positive, it comes to this side of the equation, it becomes negative y. So I'm going to call this one here equation number 3. You can even put them vice versa. You can even write them as minus y plus 6. Minus y plus 6, it's also still a relevant expression there. Okay. And then what do? We're going to substitute now. I'm going to substitute what? Equation number 3. I'm going to substitute equation number 3 into equation number 2. Equation number 2, let me use the space here. Equation number 2 is given by xy, it is equal to 8. So where I see x, I'm going to replace it by 6 minus y. So here I'll have 6 minus y. Multiply that by y, it is equal to 8. When you remove the brackets, you're going to have 6y minus y squared. Take 8 into the side, into the left side, it becomes negative. This is equal to 0. And then rearrange your formula accordingly. So starting with negative y squared plus 6y minus 8. All of this, it is equals to 0. So now the formula is in the standard form. What's going to happen in this stage is that you can choose to multiply or to divide everything by negative 1, or you can simply substitute the whole thing into the quadratic formula as it is. So I'm just going to substitute it as it is into the formula. So x equals to negative b plus minus into the square root of b squared minus 4ac, and then you divide everything by 2a. So when you're going to substitute it as it is, identify that the value of a, it is negative 1. The value of b, it is positive 6. And then the value of c, it is negative 8. Correct substitution is very important. So we're going to have negative 6 there, plus minus into the root of 6 squared. Minus 4, a is negative 1, c is negative 8. And then you divide everything by 2 into negative 1. You put this into your calculator and you're going to find that the value, we're solving for y, my apologies here, it's not x here. We tend to make this mistake a lot. Supposed to be y here, you're solving for y, you're solving for y. Great. So you'll find that the first value of y, it is equal to 2, and the second value of y, it is equal to positive 4. Both of the values are positive. Now you are not done, because of these are the values of y. You need to know what are the values of x. For us to find the values of x, what I'm going to say is that at y it is equal to 2, then I must look for the value of x. Where y is equal to 2, using this formula here, this equation, I mean, that we have, where I see y, I'm going to replace it by 2 so that I can get the value of x. So this is going to be 6 minus 2. That makes my x to be 6 minus 2 is going to give me 4. So this is the first value of x. And then the second value, we're going to say at y, it is equals to positive 4. What is the value of x? I'm going to use the same equation, this one. I'm going to have 6 minus 4, making the value of x to be equal to 2. So at the end, if you have two values of y, you must have two values of x. So this is our simultaneous equation. It's what you should have done in your examination. But anyway, I hope you guys have got it right. Okay. Now let's move on to 1.3. What do we have in 1.3? Okay. we have manipulation of equations. They say that the electrical current can be calculated by using the formula here. I is equals to E divided by R plus R, where E represents the electromotor, and then R represents the internal resistance, and then R, the capital letter, it represents the external resistance. Then make R the subject of the formula. Okay, let's rewrite that equation. 1.3, we have I it is equals to what? It is equals to E divided by R plus small letter r. We're looking for this r here to be the subject of the formula. When they say make something the subject of the formula, it's like they're asking you to solve for that r. So we're going to solve for r in terms of E and R and I, basically. So what do? We need this r. So I'm going to multiply both sides by the denominator. So my denominator, it is r plus r multiplied by I. This is equals to E divided by r plus r multiplied by r plus r. What I do on the left hand side, I must also do it on the right hand side. Okay, so what did I do here? I multiplied both sides of this equation by my denominator. Why? Because I want to get rid of this one here. So r plus r, it divides into another r plus I. So on my left hand side here, I'm going to remove the brackets. I'm going to have IR plus the capital letter I and R. All of this, it is equals to E. So you see the person that I'm looking for is here. So I don't need this one. I'm going to transpose them into the other side of the equation. So when you transpose this one to this side, you're going to be left with I and R. All of that, it is equal to E minus I and R. Because of I'm looking for a small letter r, I'm going to divide both sides by I, and then my final answer is going to be E minus I r. All of this is divided by I. So you have simply solved, or made r rather, the subject of the formula. Let's put a box around that. Okay, because we're going to need this. 1.3.2, they say hence or otherwise calculate the internal resistance R, given that I is 5 amperes, E it is 13,05, and then the external resistance is 2. This is straightforward. You just take what you created here and then you just substitute these values that I have given to you. So our R here, it is, how we solved it is given by E minus I and R, all of this divided by I. Do your substitution. Where is E? E is given as 13,05. So you're going to have 13,05 minus our I is 5 amperes, and then our capital letter R, it is 2 ohms. All of this is divided by I. I is 5 amperes, so we're going to put 5 there. And then it's a work of a calculator from here. From here, it's just the work of a calculator. You simply press the calculator, you will find that your R, it's giving me 0.61. You can write it as a fraction. As a fraction is going to be 61 divided by 100. Yes, 61 divided by 100. That is our 1.3. And then the last question, the very last question of question 1, it's 1.4. Right. So I'm going to erase everything on this page so that I can work. Yes. So 1.4, you are given binary numbers. Grade 10 should come back here. They say calculate 1101 base 2 minus 3 and leave your answer in binary form. Okay, so what is the simplest way to solve this is to start by converting this and write it in decimal. By decimal, we mean like it must look the same as this one because you're given binary and decimal. Okay, so we're going to change this and write it in decimal. So 1101, when you express it in decimal, it is going to give us 13. Somebody can say, how did you find that? Okay, let's do it like this. I'm going to use the box method. So we've got 1101. I'm going to box this here. Forgive me for my writing. And then what I'm going to have here, I'm going to have 2 to the exponent of 0, 2 to the exponent of 1, 2 to the exponent of 2, and then you're going to have 2 to the exponent of 3. Okay, 2 to the exponent of 3, it is giving us 8. This one is giving us 4, and this one it is giving us 2, but we're not going to work with this one because of its 0, and then a 2 to the exponent of 0 is 1. And then you add all of these numbers. The one where you find 0 here, you neglect it. So this part here, we're not going to work with it here. We're going to work with only the numbers that gave us where we find 1, rather. Those are the numbers we're going to be working with. So what you do here is that you add them. You say 8 plus 4 plus 1. 8 plus 4 plus 1 is 12 plus 1 is 13. So that's where we get this 13. So therefore, it means that this is the same as having 13 minus 3, which is equal to how much? Which is equal to 10. So now we're going to have to leave our answer in binary form. So binary form of 10, we have to convert 10 into binary form. We are going to do the same thing that we are doing here. But the binary form of 10, let me just put it here. It is 1 0 1 0 base 2. All right, so how did we find this? Okay, not a problem. I'm going to use the same table method. How do I start this? 2 to the exponent of, let me say, 4, 2 to the exponent of 3, 2 to the exponent of 2, 2 to the exponent of 1 here, and then we just have 2 to the exponent of 0 there. Okay, so yeah, so what am I going to have here? I know that 2 to the exponent of 4. Just confirm the answer using your calculator. I think it's 16. 2 to the exponent of 4. Yes, it's going to give us 16 there. This is going to give us 8. This is going to give us 4. This is going to give us 2. This is going to give us 1. Okay, now let's see. How did we arrive there? We're going to have 16 minus 10. When you're subtracting, you're going to say 16 minus 10, you put a 1 there. 16 minus 10, it's going to give us 6, right? And then we cannot say 6 minus 8, so we're going to put a 0 here. What we're going to have 6 minus 4. 6 minus 4 is going to give us 2, so we're going to put a 1 there. And then 2 minus 2, we're going to get a 0. Yeah, and then that's just it. And then this is our final answer here. We're going to get 1 0 1 0. Yes, this is our final answer here. It's been a while since I did binary numbers, but then yeah, here we are. So the final answer for this, when you leave it in binary form, it's 1010 base 2. Yes, feel free to leave your comments, corrections, or any other thing. I believe the question was out of 21 marks. Yes, see you in the next segment.